What's good, Commanders fans? Just want to make a quick video here talking about remaining free agents that may interest the Washington Commanders. Ben Standing on his podcast said they have reached out to offensive tackles before the draft, so we'll see if they do make a move. Now, the biggest talk around the town, other than really drafting Jaden Daniels and all the other guys, is just that left side of the offensive line. Is a duo of Cornelius Lucas and Brandon Coleman good enough, or one or the other? Are one of these guys going to be reliable? It's just a lot of unknown. We know Cornelius Lucas is a good swing tackle, but to have him as your day one starter protecting your young rookie potential franchise quarterback it's a big question mark. It is concerning. We saw what happened last year to Sam Howell. He got punch drunk. Towards the end of the year, he started looking like Patrick Ramsey. He was, seeing ghosts and all kinds of stuff. The room was spinning for him. So we just don't want to see that happen to our young quarterback again. And like I said, who knows? I mean, Cornelius Lucas could step in, plug and play, or not plug and play, but he's going to be the day one. He possibly could be the day one starter and play well. We've seen games where Cornelius Lucas has come in and played really, really well. We've seen games where he struggled. 2020, I know this 3 or 4 years ago, he played really well, where he had to step in and start. There's been a lot of games where he's had to come in and play well, and come in and start, and he's played really, really well. Brandon Coleman potentially could be a stud. Now, there's going to be a learning curve. Is he a tackle? Is he a guard? Those are the question marks right there. But as a rookie, there's always going to be a learning curve. So it's just to be expected. If he comes in and he struggles, it's to be expected. So that's all I'm saying. I do that's the only critique I have for Adam Peters, is maybe being a little bit more aggressive with the left tackle position and the left guard position. I'm not going to say it's as bad as what Ron Rivera did, where he was just being cheap. He always had Leno, but he just in interior positions for the offensive line, he went cheap. Andrew Norwell, Trey Turner, Nick Gates, guys like that. He just did a lot of bargain bin shopping. And that's just, I don't want to see that again with this regime. I want to see them attack the offensive line with high draft capital. If you have to spend money or make a trade like Adam Peters did with the Niners for Trent Williams, where you have to give, they only give up a third and a fifth, where they basically, I'm not going to say swindled the Commanders or Washington football team at the time, but just the value and the assets that they had to give up just doesn't match what they're getting with the talent that they got with Trent Williams. You would think they would have to give up a first round pick, but that situation was botched. But you guys get what I'm saying here. It's just the left side of the offensive line certainly is a question mark. Are there guys that they can target and bring in that would be an upgrade or be more reliable? And unfortunately, the answer is questionable on that. You look at David Bakhtiari, who's an all-pro, perennial Pro Bowl left tackle. The biggest question mark with him is just health. Can he stay healthy? Would I give him a one-year deal? I probably would. I wouldn't mind bringing him in. But you look at the last 3 years, and I talked about this on my live stream, is 2021, he played one game. 2022, he played 11 games. Only one game in 2023. And he's had severe injuries, knee injuries, legitimate injuries. Not only that, how old is David Bakhtiari? He's 32 years old, which is not bad. But, he's been in the league for, 9 seasons. And he just has a lot of wear and tear in his body. So it's like, if you bring a guy like that in, you have to be prepared to have Cornelius Lucas ready, which he would be a good backup. That he would go back to his natural role. And then kind of what would you do with Brandon Coleman? He would be the third string left tackle, or battling with Nick Allegretti for the guard position. Even with Nick Allegretti, he's barely started in the league. Now, he could be that Wes Schweitzer kind of guy where you bring him in, give him a chance, plays well. He did have 9 starts in 2020 with the Chiefs, but other than that, he's had 3 starts in 2022, 1 start in 2023. Just hasn't really played much. So he's a question mark there. He did play well in the Super Bowl. I'll give him credit for that. But there's still just not a lot of reliability there on that left side. So David Bakhtiari is an option. But once again, just the concerns. And then you move to DJ Humphries, who got injured on the last game of the season. And he got released. He's made the Pro Bowl a few times. But to have a severe knee injury on the last game of the season, he most likely won't be ready until halfway through the season. So even he's not a reliable option. Yes, the familiarity with Cliff Kingsbury, but he's a guy that, who's talented, and I think he would come in and be an upgrade, but when is he going to be available? So the options are just really, really dire. There's not a lot of options out there. DJ Humphries and the other guy, Donovan Smith, is really not all that great either. Now, I remember he was good with the Buccaneers. Like, he played pretty well with the Buccaneers. I remember the playoff game where he kind of basically stonewalled and stalwart Chase Young in that game, where he played really, really well. And then he just kind of went down or kind of regressed the years after that. You look at his season with the Chiefs in 2023 per PFF, he had a 58.9 PFF grade. And then look at this, that offensive lineman responsible for the highest percent of their teams allow pressure. Donovan Smith was 4th in the NFL with 29.3% responsibility for the team's pressure on Pat Mahomes. So yes, he played well in the Super Bowl game again, just like Allegretti did for the Chiefs. But other than that, I mean, he had a struggle. He struggled last year. DJ Humphries was once again top 10 in penalties at his position, had a 62.5 PFF grade. So the options out there are not great. DJ Humphries did get ejected in the game last year. He hit the ref in the face, and I kind of like guys who are dogs in a fight. Now, he hit the ref in the face. He accidentally hit the ref in the face. He was trying to hit a guy from the Seahawks, but he got kicked out of the game, got ejected. So I kind of like dogs and guys who fight and stuff like that, because we need more mean guys. We just need it. We need it on this roster. We have a lot of nice guys. We need mean guys with chips on their shoulders for sure. But yeah, just looking at that left tackle spot, there's just not a lot of options. Now, Andres Pete is a guy that's been brought up. He's been in the league for a while, played with the Saints. He can play guard, he can play tackle, has positional flex as well. You look at last year when he came in, he thrived at the left tackle spot. He only allowed 2 sacks on more than 400 snaps of pass protection. Now he is 30, facing his last great opportunity to cash in on a lucrative NFL contract. The Saints could have extended Pete sooner to avoid paying out that $13.6 million left over from past restructures, but he likely wanted to test the market before agreeing to a new deal. So he's still out there. He's 30 years old, stepped in, played well at the tackle spot, has played guard. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind giving him a flyer in training camp. You see what happens. Just adding more depth. I think we just need bodies at the position on the left side on the offensive line. So those are the guys at the left tackle spot would take a look at. Just not a lot of guys. Just not a lot of options. It's just not very sexy, the guys that are out there. And obviously, I mean, it's after the draft. So it's not going to be a lot of nice options that are available. You look at the Eagles, they jumped on Mekhi Becton. Even him, he has his flaws. You know, where he was brought in to be a swing tackle, not even a starter. So just the options are not great. You look at Dalton Risner playing guard. If you want to have him compete against Nick Allegretti, you had a good year last year where he had 746 snaps with the Vikings. He only allowed 0 sacks, 11 hits, and 30 pressures. A great teammate and a great locker room guy as well. So he's been pretty good. He has not allowed a sack on 412 pass blocking snaps for the Vikings last season as well. So he's a good option. Just rapid fire going through the guys at corner. Corner is, they added more guys. They added Mike Samuels still, who's an inside corner slot guy, but still have Ben St. Juice and Emmanuel Forbes outside. You got Michael Davis, who's solid, but had a down year last year. So I still think if you want to bring a guy in, I wouldn't mind it just for some depth and just adding more talent. I don't know if it was the scheme last year for Ben St. Juice that had him regress, or just the foot speed, him not being able to keep up with guys, and Emmanuel Forbes struggled. Just his weight, A.J. Brown big bodying him, DJ Moore big bodying him. He just struggled against a lot of guys, and then he got beat deep by Brandon Ayuk. He just struggled last year. He had some good moments, but he had that rookie learning curve for sure. He just struggled to tackle, stay with guys, and he was getting burnt. He just was. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm not going to blame the coaching for all of Emmanuel Forbes' struggles last year. He just struggled last year. He did. So maybe Joe Wood Jr. could get the best out of him, and Ben St. Juice make those guys better. But, of course, I brought up Stephon Gilmore a lot. Stephon Gilmore, he got cooked in that playoff game. But for the season, he played well, man. He played really well. Only 55.8% completion percentage allowed. Passer rating allowed, only 82.7, which is not bad at all. Had 2 interceptions. Played really, really well against A.J. Brown in Dallas, where he basically shut him down. Had a couple pass deflections. Like, he played really, really, really well in that game against A.J. Brown. Basically the opposite of what happened with Emmanuel Forbes. Pass deflections, well, had 13 pass deflections. And then 2022, yes, he got mulched by Terry McLaurin, but even 2022 didn't have a bad year, had 2 picks, had 11 pass deflections. So he would be an upgrade, is on the last chapter of his career, but we bought a lot of guys who are in the last chapter of their careers. Austin Eckler is in the last, basically the last who were all the last chapter of his career. Stephon Gilmore, 33 years old. I still think he has a little bit of juice left. And if it's a 1-year deal, you got Austin Eckler on a 1-year deal, you Cleveland Farrell on a short-term deal, Dante Fowler. So you bought a lot of guys, and another former Cowboy that would be on a short-time deal that could be impactful and help out and help some of the young guys learn as well. 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowl, and all this stuff in the past. But Stephon Gilmore is still very, very, very talented. Xavier Howard, another guy that is still very, very talented. Steven Nelson had 4 interceptions last year. Xavier Howard is still talented. He had a solid year for the Dolphins last year. Look at his advanced numbers. Only gave up 62% completion percentage allowed and 81.3 quarterback rating allowed. And also he had 1 interception last year. Played in 13 games. Stephon Gilmore, too, has been able to stay healthy, too. That's a big thing. Played in all 17 games last year. Played in 16 games the year before. Only 9 games, only 8 games the year before that. But otherwise, he's been able to really stay healthy. So I wouldn't mind bringing Stephon Gilmore on a favorable deal. Defensive line, I wouldn't take a look at anybody out there. Wide receiver, I think we're already good at that. Tight end, we're fine. Safety, I think we're fine. I know Justice Simmons is still available, but I just don't think they go after him because, you got Defoe. I'm not going to say these guys are better than Justice Simmons, obviously, but I just don't see them going out there. I think they like what they brought him with Jeremy Chin, Derek Forrest, Quan Martin. I just think you have a solid trio there at the safety spot. Percy Butler, we'll see if he gets a little bit of playing time here and there. Dominique Hampton, 6th-round pick. Let's see if he plays. And yeah, that's really it. Adoree Jackson, corner from the Giants. He would be solid. Steven Nelson, I just like how he takes the ball away. Had 4 picks, had a pick 6 against Joe Flacco in the playoff game against the Browns as well. So those are the guys to take a look at. If there's any free agents that you guys think we should take a look at, or is there anybody worth our while, let me know. Hell's Commanders, peace.